Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create this particular beautiful dashboard you actually have on your screen. So if you have not watched the video number 1, you might want to take a look at that and see how we actually got our data transformed and actually clean. So this is actually an advanced Excel dashboard. So we have our data pushed into the Power Pivot, an advanced way to create dashboards. So create your relationship right here and actually avoid using VLOOKUP, index and match, or XLOOKUP to some kind of denormalize your table and have one single table that the Excel pivot table can actually interact with. So, with this particular one right here, we can create something as advanced as what you can see right here, right now. So, if this is your first time hitting this particular YouTube channel, you might want to consider hitting the subscribe button. So, before we properly get started, let's just look at this particular part right here. It's very important, and as well, this part, then plus this very part, what is actually going on those particular parts I have just highlighted. So if you look at it, I selected 2006. So 2006 is the current year we have selected. So the previous year before 2006 is actually 2005. So right now we are comparing 2006, which is actually selected in our slicer, with 2005, and this is actually the growth on revenue, on profit margin, on total cost of goods sold, and all of that. So if you look at this particular place, is to draw the end user attention into what is going on over this particular place, and this and this and all other percentages. So we are actually telling them that this particular 2 years, so if you see this 2 years now, is what you have here. So it says the percentages are showing changes between 2006 and 2005. So how do we create this? That is something very important that we're going to discuss in this particular part of the video. So let's get it. So previously we have actually created this particular one right here. So we use some bit of DAX to do this. In case you don't know what DAX is all about, it's actually data analysis expression, use a language used in Power BI. So we try to actually be very much advanced on our dashboard creation in Excel. So we have used that language over here to do some certain things. So this is what it is. So the first video is very important. Please go ahead and watch it if you've not watched that. So let's get started now. So over here is my plain place for my dashboard. So what did I do? All I did was to come to view, and here I'm going to bring it back on. This is the normal thing you see when you have Microsoft Excel opened. So what we just did now was like go back up here and turn off the grid line. So you have something like this. That is cool. Then the second thing is for you to actually turn off the headings. And when you turn off the headings, both the row and the column will be gone. So you now have something as plain as this. So for this particular formula bar, if I create my dashboard, I love to turn it off, and I have something that look more like a dashboard instead of like a spreadsheet. Okay, now that we have gotten this, we're going to be turning on and off this formula bar, because if we want to get something from this particular sheet right now, we need to go through the formula bar. But for that, let's just skip it first. All right, the very first thing you're gonna do is just to go back up and click on insert. In case you're wondering like how is your own Excel like, so what I did was just for me to customize mine here. So you might have something like this or something different like this, so you can customize it to have a very good dashboard. So just click over here and just say hide access toolbar, whatever. Oh no, I think it's gonna be full screen mode, and you have something like this. This is what I did. So enough of that. I've shown you everything you need to know. So let's go back up right here and click on insert. So from insert, we're gonna go for shapes, and we click on this on shape. So we just drag it down. So I don't like to use a flat shape like this so plenty times. So it depends on what I'm doing. So I want to change it to this particular curvy one that has, rounded corners. So when I drag it down, I have something like this. So we might not be using the same, the same screen size, so yours might be different, so you can just adjust it to fit what you want. So let us use the height to be 5.85, so which is gonna be 5.85, and for the weight we're gonna use 22.01, so 22.01, and we have something like this. So if you look at this, it's too curvy, so we're going to change this and we'll reduce it a little bit. So this yellow part is what you're going to hold down, so until you are very much satiated with what you have. Okay, I think now I'm cool with what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to do my Control 1 over here, and with Control 1 you can have this moved anywhere you like, so I would love to move it away, so keep it right here. So the first thing first is for me to click over here and use this particular one here. So once that is done, you have to just see that we have some kind of border around it. We need to turn that off, click on it and use no line. So now we have this. So we can move it to where we like. So I'm going to keep mine here. I'm okay. So I want to keep a space at the top right here where I'm going to have the title of the dashboard and my navigation and clear filter and all of that. So let this particular top be there, a white space here. So maintain that white space, very important. So all I'm going to do is to duplicate this again. On the duplicate, I'm going to make this a bit smaller, then change its color to pure white. Okay, we have this. So we can go back up here. I just want us to be on the same page. That's what I'm doing this. So I'm going to do 4.26. So I want to do that by 3.44. So we have something like this. Can you see it? So it doesn't really pop out very well on the background we have right here. So we want it to pop. So what do we do? Click on it and let's go here. So we can move it closer to see what we're doing. So click on this particular one here that says effects. So once you click on that, you come over here under the presets and you can actually check which one you want to use from those ones. So I would love to use this particular one. So any one of it could be used, depends on your preference, what you really want from it. So let's go with this. So the curveness is not really much, so I'm going to actually add a little bit right here. So I want that circle to be on it. Okay, I think I love what I say, but I don't really like this, is too much, so we have to reduce this. So let's just customize this. I'm going to use 80 for my percentage on the transparency here. I'm going to use 80%. Okay, 80% is cool. And for the blur area here, I want to do blur for 43 for blur. So let's see what we have. So can you see it now? It makes a lot of sense than what we have before, and I love it. So for the remaining part here, let's say the angle should be 90 degree. The angle here, we're going to use 90 degree, and this is what we have. So I love this. All right, let's take this one, and we have to set it right here. So we're going to have 6 of these. So I'm going to put one over here. So when I put one over here, I want to have this little space here, and I have a lot of space at the top. So let's maintain this. So you duplicate this, you bring this over here. Don't forget it. Don't actually forget about how it looks now. I'm going to just make it this way until I have 6 of them. So now I have 6 of them. So I can now hold this, and you see that? So when we go back up, we can just go to align, and we align this top. So the next thing is to some kind of distribute horizontally, right? So we go over here and we distribute horizontally. So we have equal spacing for all of them. And this is great. So this is what you do first. But one thing is this, I don't want to keep this color. So I want to choose a different color, like a dark color. So go over here, then click on this. Let's go with this. That's nice. So click on this one again, and let's do the same thing to it. So we go with the same color. Okay, perfectly done. I think we are really there. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to go all the way back up and hit my insert key. we go over to where I have a circle right then. So here's my circle. So one thing, if I drag my circle here, you can see it's turning into something like an egg or oval, whatever. I don't like this. What am I going to do? To do something very nice, what you can do is to come over here, click on the circle and hold the shift key down. So no matter how you drag it, it's going to be a perfect circle for you. So it wouldn't look some kind of ugly. Okay, I will have this and I'm going to put it up at the top right here. So I'll keep it up here. So on this one, I'm going to make it black. So let's go with the same color like this. So we have outline. I'm going to take it off. So just double it and have another one here. So now we click on this, hold two of them together. So let's come here. So you can see align center. We centralize it for you. So once it centralizes it for you, you can just use your hand to move it and push it to however you like it. So I love something like this. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one here. So all I just need to do now is to go to align, then align top. So perfectly done. So what is left now is to make sure it's centralized. So I want to do center. Then I come over here. So it takes a lot of time though, but you just have to do this if you want to have something very perfect. So I'm going to do center. So I don't want to guess that, okay, this is right and it will be wrong. So we put, sorry, I did right. So sorry, let's go back and put center. Okay, nicely done. So duplicate this and bring it all the way down. So I'm going to increase it. Hold your shift key when doing this. So increase it a bit to be bigger. So I want to put this over here, right over here. Then I'm going to use white for it. Change the color to white. So this is what we have. So I'm going to have this one duplicated. I'll have this over here. So nicely done. So can you see it? This is becoming something very interesting. All right. Well, the next thing is I have the images for you already, but to be some kind of cool, if I show you where I used to get my images from, I think I will love it most. So let's go to my browser. So over here we have flaticon.com. So if you look at it, this is what we have right here, www.flaticon.com. So you can search for anything you want to search for right here. I can search for like trend. So if I search for trend, it's going to give me all the icons that I can use for trend. You can just be specific and search for whatever you want to search for. And one beautiful thing is that you can decide to say, okay, I don't just want an icon. I want something that is actually on animation, right? So you can just choose animated icon right here. Let's wait for it. So it's free. It's free. You don't have to pay nothing. So I think here we have only one. So I would love to search for what I can have, like let's do calendar. So for calendar here. So let's search for calendar and animated calendar. So we have 226 right here. And I can click on any one of them. Now if I hover, you see the effect. So can you see it now? Let's click on it and see what it is that we have. So here is it. So you can change from here. So you have this. So you can download from here and use it. So you have static icons. You have your, regular, animated icons from here. So all of that. So we don't actually want any of that because already we have our icons and you can take it. So all I'm going to do right now is to go to where I have my icon right in and pick it up and bring it up right here and show you exactly what it is and how you can get that. So let's go to our insert here and we go to picture. So this device. So on the zip file you have, if you have it unzipped, you have the one we actually we have a folder called image. So when you open the image, it's going to show you all of this, both the animated one and the static one. So you can pick any one you want to use right from here. So let's go with some of them. So I can decide to go with this, and let's see which one else. So let's go with something like this now. So once done, you can just click on import and let's give it some time. So we have everything right here. I'm going to just shut this one for now. So let's bring it up. So let's some kind of make it a bit smaller. So we can reduce it to this level. So now we can go with what we have. So if you look at the animated icon here, it has pause and play. So it depends on what you want. So let's spray it to see where each and every one of them will go. So now it is time for it to fit things in. So over here, I'm going to actually click on this one and some kind of resize it to fit into where we want to keep it. So I will just make sure I move this over here. I'll resize it to make it a little bit smaller. I don't want something very huge. So this will be right here. So make sure it's in the middle of it. So for this one, it's going to be my cost of goods sold. I'll make it a bit smaller to fit into where I want to keep it. So it will be right here. So for now, it's actually on the black color. So I want to control R1 to change the color. We'll go over here to where we have picture and I will click on this particular picture color. Then you select this one and you use this very one right here. So once you've done that, you can just reduce it until you have what really cool with what you want. So I think I allow this. So I'm going to choose this one here and I'll make it a bit smaller. So I'll bring it in. So we quickly go ahead and change it to this one. So make sure it's sitting tightly inside here. So next one is going to be this one here. Just adjust it to suit what you want. I'm going to push it in here. Then we choose the color we want to have for it. So nicely done. I think I have one more to bring in. Where the heck will that come from? I don't have it yet. Well, okay. So let's go with this. Here's going to be my transaction. On my transaction, I want a card. So it's going to be this card here. We have two cards. So which one should go? Let's go with this one. So I'm going to push this card here. Let's reduce this a bit. That is my card. Shopping cart is cool. So we need one more. So this one now is going to be our profit margin. So let's quickly, I don't think I have that there maybe. So let's see how we can get that. So I'll come over here. I'll choose just icon, not animated one. Just choose the normal icon here. And once we've done that, I will do profit icon. So our 4,000 icons will be shown to us so we can make our choice on what we want from those 4,000 icons. So which one do you want to go for? Look at different icons that we have. Can you see that now? So what if we go for this? Does it look like the one we have over here? I think it is. So we have it already. Can you see it now? So let's make different choice. So we have to, not going back. So we just take it off. So let's just pick something that has to do with, a currency like this one here is static. So just click on download and click on free download here. And you're going to see it's going to be downloaded straight to your PC. All right, now we have it. So let's minimize this and quickly go ahead and pick it up. So I'm going to click up here, go to insert and let's go get it. So it's on my download. I will go over to download here. Freshly, we have it. So just have to some kind of make it a bit smaller. So we resize it until it fits what we want. So go to picture here. Let's choose the color to be this. So all right, we have all of this here. So we are ready. So this is what it is that we want to have right there. So the first thing we need to do after all of this is to some kind of put some kind of is it a label or title? Okay, let's call it title. So we go over here, insert. So over here you can see where it says text. So we can pick up this. I want to type here my total quantity. So QTY means quantity, so I can just leave it as short as that. So format it. I'll go over here. I'll do centralize in the middle of it. So I'll make sure it's bold. Just use the bold one. So this is gonna be white. So I will love to choose something that is not as pure as that. So let's go with this here. Okay, we have an outline. So just Ctrl+1 to put off that. Yes, sure. Now we have something like this. That is cool. So let's go and have it duplicated. Ctrl+D will do that for us. On the duplicate, it's not going to be cool over here. So we can change the color of the text when you click on this. Go over here and let's use this. All right, so I'm going to have this one expanded. So here is going to be my total cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold. That is beautiful. The next thing is for me to do this. So we have all of this. I'm going to click on this one, then click on this to align them at the same level because they are actually the same charts, the same shapes. So I'm going to put it up. So we have it. So on this one here, I love the position where we have it now. So just click on all of this. So go right here and you align top. So that is perfect. The next thing I'm going to do right now is just some kind of come over here and just click on those and bring them down to this level. Can you see it now? Okay. So it is time for we to turn on our formula bar. So go to view and here we go. We have it. So when I click over here right now, I can bring in my cost of goods sold. So we have to put the equal sign right there. So we go over to analysis and here we pick it. We'll bring it over here. We selected something different. So we have to select this. Then let's do it again. So we have our cost of goods sold right here. So we bring in our revenue the same way. All right, I have brought all of them here, but before we start formatting, let me show you something. So if we go back to the back end, as you can see, we actually have this part where we have, you know, sum on all of them. So I'm going to turn this off. So now we want to get off all those sum. What can we do? You can actually highlight it and do your Ctrl+H. So Ctrl+H gives you find and replace. So you can type in sum of here, and all you do again is to replace all, and that is it. So it's gonna replace everything back right for you. Okay, let's go back here now. It's time for we to format this. Let's see what would be the formatting. So select all of them and go to the top ribbon. So go to home and let's choose area. So let's put this on 18. And we can choose the bold one. Beautiful. Then the color, we're going to use something like this. Okay, remember this one will not come out the way we want it. So we have to select a different color for it. So here we go. Okay, if you compare it to what we have right here, right now, so we have just gotten this part here replicated, right? So what is left right now is for we to actually add this very part. But before then, we need to add this chart first and add this particular slicer we have over here. Then we'll be able to actually, you know, create something that looks like this one here. So are you ready? Let's get it. Okay, let's go back to our back end. So over here, I will have to some kind of just copy this one. I'm going to copy it down here. So the question is this some kind of healthy? Like, should we do this? Paste a pivot table beneath another one? I'm going to tell you no, it's not really cool. But if you know the rule, doing it this way will save you a lot of time, and it's some kind of it makes a lot of sense. So why is this? This particular pivot table here would not some kind of grow like this. Do not keep growing. to not grow. So the growth is going to be something like this. The growth will be going this way, starting from here and going this way. So if your pivot table will be growing vertically, so do not paste another pivot table here. Otherwise, when you have new data and you have more rows coming down, so it will now bridge this one and there will be issues. So don't do it. So right now, we know for sure that this one here at the top, it will not grow beyond this. That was why we paste in this one. Okay, let's see what we want from this. So from this one, I want to keep revenue, profit, and transaction. So let's right click and let us go to show field list. So we take off cost of goods sold, we take off the profit margin, we take off the quantity, so we take off all products, and finally we take off the quantity sold over here, units sold. Okay, then sold product should be gone. So we have this. Okay, let's go to our all, and now we have the date or the calendar here. So we have to bring in the year. So when we bring in the year, so the year automatically went into our values because the year is number. So what we can do is to move it and put it over here. So we want to have this. You see that? So there is a relationship between the two. That is why you see this right here. So it has some kind of detected some kind of relationship and it wants to be sure you get it. So don't be freak on like, what the heck is this? So just cancel. All right, we have this right now. What we want to do is not just create chart with this. We want to be able to switch between transaction, total revenue, and total profit. So let's see how we can do that. So over here, I'm going to come in here and reference this, hit the enter key, right? So let me move it up a bit. So I will just copy it down. I don't want the grand total. So let's format this for the first time. Go to the top level and click on design. So from design, you can see this particular place where it says grand total. So I'm going to turn off rows and column. So now we have this. The next thing we do is this part right here. I don't want to see this part this way. Instead, I want to have the year over here. So how do I do this? Very simple. So let's go now to, I think that is going to be under this layout here. So let's change it over there. So click on this. We just use the tabular form. Now we have year over here, right? That is beautiful. Okay. So this place will be determined, what we're going to have here will be determined by the formula we write that will push either this one, or finally this one. So first of all, let's go back to our dashboard environment here. On our dashboard environment, what I'm going to do right now is to some kind of get this duplicated, this very one, duplicate it. I'll bring it over here. So I'm going to turn off my formula bar. So now we have what we call white space. The white space is going to be between this. You can see the space we have over here, starting from here. Very important. That same white space should be maintained over here. So can you see it right now? So you can bring this down a bit. So use your left and right arrow key to move it. Then click on the top one here. Then go to the top ribbon, click on shape format and align top. That gives you equal justification. Allow it this way. So now we have this, right? So let's go to the top ribbon again, then click on developer. In case you don't have a developer, just right click on any one of these and go to customize the ribbon. So once you get to customize the ribbon, it's going to be a pop-up now. So here we have the ribbon up. Then what you can do is to check this developer. It's going to be unchecked. So check it and click on OK. Once you've done that, you are going to see this appeared here. So right now, click on this. Let's go with this particular option button. So I'll drop my first option button here. The first one, I want to call this one my revenue. So revenue. So I'll put it somewhere around here. I'm going to duplicate it. I'll bring this one over here. I don't always used to be worried about how they are arranged. So this one will be my profit. Then finally, this one will be my transaction. Okay, so we have this. So what do? We have to make sure they are well aligned. So I'm going to click on this first one, click on this, go to the top, shape, and we do distribute horizontally, and we align top. Let's go back and see what we have. So can you see it now? If I choose this or this is 1, 2, and 3. So what we can do now is to right click and go to form control. Then from form control, click on this particular little box right here. I'm talking about this very one. So the middle here is where you click. So we want to link it to a particular cell. So we go over here and I can link it somewhere around here. I'll click on OK. So if we go back, guess what we're going to see? We are going to see 3. Now we have it. So what happens if I click on the middle one here? That gives me 2. Then finally, if I click on the first one, I am going to see 1, right? So over here, I'm going to call this one option button. I don't know if I get that right. Okay. So now I can just do this. I make it bold, and over here, it's not going area. Nobody should delete it. So I'll put it on red and I'll have the text on white. So that shows that this is very important, right? Okay. Now that we have this, we're about to create our chart. So what we can do right now is to some kind of use the if function. I'm going to use if else or ifs, whatever you want to call it. So over here, I'm going to say ifs. So the first logical test is going to be this one. So know that we're going to copy down. So what we have to do is to use the F4 key to actually lock this down. So using the F4 key, why is it not working for me? Let's do it again. Okay. Ifs. So the first logical test is this one, then the F4 key. Oh, my F4 key refused to work, so I have to make it manually. It seems I activated something that is not making it work. So I'll just do this $sign. I'll make sure this is it. Okay, that has been locked. So I'll put a comma right here, which means if this is some kind of equal to, sorry, not comma, if it is equal to 1, then I want to get this. So we need a comma. So I want to get this value. So for me not to do this over and over again, the same thing here, I can just do this. I will just say, okay, if this one, that is the second logical test here, is equal to 2, then we want to get from here, comma again, we'll paste this one in. Our, third logical test is equal to 3, then we want to get this. So let me hit my enter key. We have transaction because let's start from here. 1, 2, 3. So the first one is transaction. So which means we wrongly label this. So when I come over here now, the first one is revenue. So it's not transaction. So the second one is not, the second one is revenue. So what we can do now to set it up is to go back. Oh, sorry, I mistakenly double click and I have to just delete it off. So what we can do now is to click over here and bring this one down. That corrects it for us. So we can just make it this way. So the same formatting we have over here, we can have the same formatting for it. What do we have? Okay, what is this? We need to reformat it. Oh, sorry, we don't have to format this way. We just need to give it normal formatting because we have a transaction that is not going to be on a dollar value wherever. So let's just use this. So we have this. Let's go ahead and change to transaction, for example. So let's see what we have. So we have our transaction is this. So it's showing profit. So it's not right. So it's showing profit. The third one is transaction. So we can quickly correct it. So we bring this transaction down here. So which now shows the correct one. So let's test it out to see if the second one is profit. Yes, for sure. Total profit is very right. So that is beautiful. So once we have just gotten this done, the next thing we do now is to create our chart from this, right? So go over to the top level right here, hit the insert key, and we have our chart, and we select this. So here is the chart we want to create. I can just get this off. Click on this one and take it off. And this one, we don't want it. So if you look at this axis here, it's giving us something weird. So how could we fix this axis? So if you look at it now, the axis here is giving us some kind of 1 to 4. Instead of it looking at this and give us, from 2005 to 2008. So this is wrong. So how can we fix all of this? So very simple. All you have to do is to right click. So just right click and go to select data. So from there, you change this particular path where it says horizontal category axis level. So edit. So over here, we just highlight this part. And once you have done that, before we even click on OK, it has already fixed this part for us. That is it. So click on OK, then OK here. That is beautiful. So the next thing we do now is to get this away from here. Ctrl X to cut it. And we go to our dashboard and Ctrl V to paste it in. So here we are. So double click it to activate this. So let's take off everything we don't want, as well the grid lines. So now we have this right here. So I'm gonna just in the mid, you can see in the center we have this circle. Just drag it down to create space at the top for something very important that is gonna come. So over here now, if you look at it, we have this, and that is beautiful. So we don't want to use same color for it. Despite that we have the color we want to use, we don't want to just change the color. Sorry, that is not what I want. So this particular bars right here, we want to actually highlight any of those particular year that is above the average, of our total transaction revenue or profit. So how do we do that? Let's go back here. Thanks for learning with Data Decision. So if you want to take any of our courses from Excel to Power BI, so come to this particular website. The link is actually in the description box. So click on it and see how you can join any of our courses right here. Keep learning. So now we're going to create another, analysis here. And what that will be for is actually going to be the average line. So here I'm going to type average. So I can just say, let's do equals. Inside here I'll type average. And I'll concatenate this to it. So average total profit. So it changes based on whatever we have here. So inside here, I will use my equal sign. I'll do average. So this average is going to average everything we have here. So once it averages everything we have there, so we need to lock it down. So your F4 key should be able to help you. So once you've done that, you hit the enter key. So now this is the average of what? Of our profit. So I can just copy it down. So we have the same thing here, right? So I'm going to go back to my chart now. I'll right click and I'll go to select data here. I'll add this and we go back here. So we add this one. So for the series value, we remove this that we have inside here. So we go back here. So let's quickly take off this from here. So we highlight this particular place. Then we'll click on OK. Click on OK here. Okay. Now for this, now we have to click on the bars, right click again, and you see where it says change series chart type. So over here, look at the color and select the color from here. Is your average total profit. So select this and use the line chart. Then click on OK. So here is our average line. So let's find out dynamically, because this is going to change depends on what we have selected. So we want to go back here now. And what we want to do, we want to say above average here. So above average. So what are we doing? We are trying to see where, our revenue, profit, or transaction went above average. So what we do is to say if this here is greater than this one, then we want to return whatever is here, profit or revenue, whatever. So we close, then hit the enter key. Okay, it's giving us false. That is because it's not. So if I copy down, let's see what I have. So I only have these two here to actually, fulfill that. So what I'm going to do now for this false, I don't want to show false. So I want to give it if the result is false. So we want to see blank. So now it shows blank here. Just this is what we have, right? So the next thing we do now is to some kind of go over to here, then right click again and change select data. So we add another one. So we come over here, we add this, then come over here to remove this, and we select this part. Make sure you select from the first down to the last one here, then you click on OK. So it's giving us as a line chart. We don't want this as a line chart. So what we can do is to right click and go here. So when doing this, make sure these particular bars are highlighted. Otherwise, you wouldn't see this. Then look at the color. Here, we search for that. Just scroll down. Here is it above average. So we use this particular one here. Close that part chart. Then we click on OK. Okay, let's do Control 1 here. And now it's time for we to look at the previous dashboard before we come back here. So on the previous dashboard, if you look at it, I'm going to select this month. So now let's take it out and see what is going on. So if you look at this color, the color is highlighting something. You can see everywhere we have the color, it's actually highlighting something very important. So this is where we want to draw the focus of our end users to. You understand? So we don't just use color on our dashboard. So we try to make sense with the color we are using. So we highlight most important key part of our dashboard. So we use the color to highlight the month on a slicer. We use the color to highlight the country on a country slicer. Then we use the color to highlight the year. So now we're going to use the color to highlight anywhere we went above the average. That is what we're going to do. So what is the color? Let's go ahead and show you a particular site you can get colors from first. So over here, I'm going to type here adobe.color. Can you see it now? So when you type adobe.color, click on this. So it's going to take you to this particular homepage of theirs where it says create. So you don't have any issue with this one. Don't bother about this. So what you can do is just to click on explore. So over here, you can mix your color yourself. Like you can mix your color yourself. So those are the presets you have here. So you can decide to use any of these, but I'm not going to use the preset. So if you want to mix the color now, you can actually decide to say, okay, my dashboard has white. It has black, right? So you want to decide, hit the enter key to give you related colors that goes with white and black. And if I come over here now, you can see all those colors goes with the same white and black that our dashboard actually has. So you can decide to pick anyone from here. I'm just trying to show you exactly what you need to know. So we have already gotten our color. Let's get back. All right, those are the colors we're going to use. So this one is to highlight. This one is for our card as well. And let's see how we can go with this. So I'm going to pick this color from here. Let's come to our dashboard. So let's drop it down here. So first of all, I'm going to come here, Control 1. So Control 1 to bring this up. Okay. Then we click on this bars here. Then we go over here. Then we can now say we want this to overlap. We've just done that. Then the next thing is to click on this very one here. So those are the ones that are below. So we want to choose the color that would match that. So this is too dark. So we want something light. So let's go with this one here. So can you see it now? It's light. So it pops out of the background. We love that. So I'm going to choose this one here. Then I go over to this and I want to use this color. So what I need to do now is to just click on it and go over to more colors. Then I copy the hex code from here to be used. So now we click on this chart. So make sure you click on this chart, and those two would be what we want to be highlighted. So when we go over here, we should be able to see the color reflect here. Then you see the color we've just copied. Now, this is what we want. So for this one here, for the average line is too thick. We want to make sure we reduce the thickness. So we go over here and put it on something like, let's do 1 point. So 1 point is fine. So I think we are good with 1 point. So it's lighter. That is it. So we're going to actually add a slicer. So let's add our slicer over here. So I'm going to add my slicer on this one. So to add my slicer is very simple. I can decide to add my slicer. All I need to know is to know what, which table has the slicer I want to add. So it's actually the date table and it's the year slicer. I'll right click and add slicer. Here we have what we want. So now let's quickly Ctrl X to cut it from here. And let's go down to here and have it pasted right in here. So we have pasted it. So our main focus is that we don't want to keep this. So now what I want now, I'm going to have this expanded, right? Then we go back up, click on this slicer. Then we just do, 4. So we can some kind of do this. So I'm going to right click here and go to slider settings. Then we have to check this and click on OK. That takes the heading off. So here we have to make sure that our slicer starts from 2005 and ends in 2008. The same thing we have over here. So now it is time for me to bring this here. So we have to align it perfectly right here. So now, so it takes time to get this arranged, but once it works, that is all you need. I want this color to be picked. So I want to go Control 1 and come over here and copy the color from here to highlight what is selected from the slicer. So just copy the hex code from here. So I've done that. So click on cancel or click on OK. Click on OK. Okay, now click on your slicer and go to the top level here. Then click on slicer. Then over here, you right click and duplicate. So from there now, what you can do is to click on whole slicer and change the color. So go to format. So for the whole slicer, the first thing we want is for we to actually say we don't want any border. So you click on none. Then for the fill color, this is the color we use for our, our shape on this shape right here. I'm talking about this very, shape we have here that our slicer and our chart is sitting on, right? So once we have done that, we are good to go. We can click on OK. Then the next thing is for we to see our selected item with data. So we have to change the color. So we go to more colors. And for here under the hex code, we Control A and we take it off. Then we paste in the one we've copied. Oh, this is not valid. So let's go ahead and copy another one. So I'm going to click on OK here. So right click and Control 1. Sorry for that, please. My bad. So we're going to want to go right here. We mistakenly copied something weird. So I can just copy this. So let's get back here. So now once you get back here right now, already you have duplicated this one. And this is what it is. So if I click on this now, you can see it has reflected right here. Can you see it now? It has taken off the white. So you don't need to some kind of do that duplicate again. All you have to do is to right click on it. Then go to modify. Then choose this one. More color. And over here, we can use this. So now it works. So we've done that. So if I click on OK, so now it's highlighting whatever has been selected from here. Can you see? It's working on this right now. That is cool, right? This is absolutely something we are looking forward to creating. And it's better. It's better. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually very interesting. So the next thing I want to do right now is that I want to see what is the contribution of what? Of those particular 2 years that we made a lot of, profit. So what is the contribution, percentage contribution over other years? We want that. And we want to see what is the average, revenue over here that we have its line. And we want to see that displayed over this particular part. Let's get it. Okay, we get back to the back end here. So we are right here again. I don't want to see this because I'm not creating any of this thing here. So let's quickly make this to look very good. So all I'm going to do now is to make sure I go over here and I use all border. So I come down here, I use all border. That will actually make the back end of my dashboard look some kind of very nice, right? So I don't want to make it haggard. So we have something like this, okay? Nicely done. So the next thing now is that we want to actually, let's go down here. Over here, I will definitely say I'm trying to find the max year, right? The max year. Or still, instead of us searching for the max year, I would love to just say total, I think above average here. So above average. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm looking to calculate the total. So I'm going to use this sum over here. So I will sum everything I have here. So it's very important to sum it. So why did I sum it? If I click on like 2007 year, there will be some years where we have this above average to be more than 2007 and 2008. So we want to pick that year once that happens automatically. You get it now. So now this is the total. Here I'm going to put total. So here I'm going to put percentage. So over the percentage area, all I'm going to do, I'm going to put my equal sign here. I'm going to say this one here divide by the sum of all of this. So we close and control 1. We go back to percentage here. So we want 1 decimal place. So this is what it is, 93.9%. So let's change it to profit. That gives us 67.1%. So this particular 2 years, 2007 and 2008, contributed 67% to our overall profit. Beautiful, huh? This is it. So this is what you do. So now we're going to write a caption. So let's get back to our dashboard over here. So the first thing I do, I just have to go ahead and duplicate this, bring it down, go ahead and turn on the formula bar. So let's get it. So we go here, we pick the percentage. So we can make it smaller. So we have to make sure we make it more bold than this. So I'm going to use a bolder font. So let's increase it. We're going to change the fonts. So put it on bold. So do you notice a mistake right on our work here? Is that the very color we said we're going to use for highlight is not what we are using right now. So how do we make this happen? This is the color we ought to have used. So let's just Ctrl 1 to copy the color codes and rectify those mistakes we've made. So if I'm just looking at it, so I'm going to Ctrl C to copy, and we close it here. Let's get back here. So now I'm going to click on this. This is the color we ought to have used here. Mistakenly, we did not use it. I just got to know. Now here is it. So we have to update our slicer as well. Right click on it, modify it, and selected item with data. We go ahead and change the hex code here. That is beautiful. Now, can you see? It's going to give us something. This is looking cool. That color we had before was a mistake. Okay, I'm going to use the same color on this to highlight this here. So over here, we should, let's use something like 19. Then here we go. I'm going to put this one over here at the top here. Okay, so we need to write a caption, and this caption should be dynamic. So every single time we make a change, so we want to see what exactly we have right here. So how can we do that? So I'm going to put this one up a little bit. So let's go back to the back end here. And now over here, I'm going to type in caption. All right, let me quickly give you the idea of what we're about to do. So over here now, as you can see, we actually have this particular percentage here. So what we want to do is to say 66% of, now we have revenue. Revenue came from the selected year. So we wouldn't mention it just like the way I've mentioned it on my previous one, but we just do something like this. Then whoever is looking at this will definitely understand what is going on. So let's quickly see how we can customize that. So we go to the back end here, and under the caption, so we put equal sign here. So double quotation, we just do off. Now after off, we close it and we concatenate to it what is selected. And then we concatenate this. So that is 65% of total revenue came from the highlighted. So we now go ahead and close this. So we put came from the highlighted. Yes. So we have this. double click on it. So we have something like this. So I want to push off total. I don't want total to be here. So we can do Control-1. Sorry, not Control-1. Instead, we can do Control-H. So over here, we put in what we don't want. That is total. So we replace all. Takes off total. Then need to update this one. You want to make it shorter. So we can just duplicate this one. Control D. Then we come over here. We go here and pick this caption. We stretch it out. So let's do this. So we have to choose the color. Let's use something calm. So let's duplicate this one. Then I go over here. So what I'm going to do now is to bring the average of whatever we selected. So you can pick any of this here. This is the average, any one of it. So it can be the first one, it can be the middle one, or any one. So this is the average. So for the average, I would love to use something like this. Then the gap here is too much. I'm going to just remove this gap, close it. So just duplicate this, put it over here, and let's go ahead and pick it up. Because this one is dynamic as well. So you have to make sure everything you do is dynamic. So just reduce this, put it over here. So I can just some kind of reduce this. I don't want it to be as huge as this. Something like this would be cool. So we can arrange it. So the next thing I'll do is to go to Insert, then go to my Shapes and pick up a line. Then hold the Control key to drag the line a little like this. Then pick the line and have it somewhere around beneath this one here. So what I'm going to do now is just to make sure my line is giving me the same color I have as my average line, which is something like this. Oh no. Okay. It doesn't pop out very well, but it's okay. So let's see. It's dynamic. So what we can do now, make sure you select this and go over here and always make sure you push your alignment to the left. Then do the same thing to this one here as well. Push your alignment to the left. Then with that, irrespective of the changes, you to maintain this. So this one here, we need to have a gap for it. So off is now together with that particular number of transaction. So let's get into here. One space, hit enter. That is corrected. So now we have this. So completely. So when I select this, it doesn't affect this main chart here. So here we go. So the next thing now is that we want to some kind of make sure that this one has a data label. So how do we do that? If I go ahead and turn it on, I have something very huge. So when turning it on, don't click on this one. So let's deselect it. So make sure you click on this one, because this one is only going to reflect to where we have it right on. So just go over here and bring this one. So I don't want to have something like this. We need to format this. There are two ways to do this, but I'm going to show you one way. Later after all, I'll show you the other part of it. this is it here. This is the value we want to some kind of update. So you can highlight it, Control 1, then go over to number, then go to custom. Let's scroll down. So we have this one here without the $sign. We have this one. This is the correct one. This is the correct one here. Let's use the correct one here without the $sign. You can see it now. Then we can go ahead and click on OK. Let's get back here. Now we have this. So if you don't want to have decimal places on it, what we can do is to go back and update it again. So I think we can do Control 1. Over here, we can remove this and put just the hash key here. Remove all of this. Put just the hash key here. So when you have billion, let's update. This is what you have. So let's look at this. Can you see this now? It's making a lot of sense. So this is what it is. In case this one grows to this level, we don't want to interfere with this one. So let's click here and just drop this down. So irrespective of how much it's some kind of growth, so it wouldn't interfere with what we have here. And this is beautiful. So now if we go back to our previous dashboard, so you can now see that we have done something similar to what we have here right now. So exactly this. So the next thing we have to go into now is how we can create this particular part. And I believe this is what most people had been waiting for. So let's see how we can do this. Anytime we select this, we want to compare it with this one. So let's get on it. Okay, we are right here. We have to go to our back end. So this time around, we have to mark our territory here. If I scroll up, so I'm going to scroll to this end. Over here, I'll make this one a bit smaller. So I highlight it and I will come here and select this color. So which means all those analyses are similar. So all I'm going to do next is for me to copy this from here for my next, pivot table. So I'll paste it over here so I can move it. So this one would have, what do I call it? Will be connected to a slicer. Do I need to do that? Yes, of course, it will be connected to a slicer. Let's go to the top ribbon. So let's connect it. Then let's have it duplicated. So you can just do this. So once you highlight it like this, you see a plus sign, hold your control key. You can move this to this side, anywhere you like. I'm going to keep it here. So on this one, I will deselect my slicer from it. So I'll keep this one like this. So I won't filter everything. So on this one, I'll keep my slicer on it. So if I keep my slicer on it, I would like to bring this field list up. Then I'll take off everything we have right here, exclude the year. So now this is what we have. So we just want to have the year that we have selected, right? Okay. You'll be thinking like, what the heck are you doing? Don't worry, you will understand everything. So I would like to move this away from here down to here for now. So in this one, we want to have everything we have here because that is what we need. You get it? So maybe the easiest way would have been for we to copy the previous one. And I'm going to show you something you might have not noticed. How do you delete pivot table? So when you do this and you right click, you don't see anything like delete. There's no delete here. So if you have to delete this pivot table from here, highlight the area where it is. So make sure you have nothing beneath it that would affect, that your delete will affect. Then just right click and click on delete. That has just deleted the pivot table away for you. So now what we need to do is to scroll to this end here and highlight this particular one. Then we Ctrl+C to copy. Then we scroll back here and we have it pasted over here. So once we have done that, this is exactly what we want. So we need to take off what we don't need, and that will be sold product, unsold product, and all products. So they have been taken off. So we need all of this here. So now we can return this back. So make sure it's not, just let's scroll here. Okay, on this one we want to have the year. So let's go for the year. We drag it into our rows. And as you can see, it has a slicer on it. We don't want to have any slicer on this one. So we just have to deactivate the slicer from it. So we unclear the slicer. So if you look at it, we are still having row labels and the grand total. So I've shown you how to do that before. So we turn it off. We use tabular form. So we have this. Fine and clear. So why is this one always trying to get itself bridged with this one? All right. The very first thing we have to do right now is that we want to find out what is being selected from slicer. Okay, let's come down here. So I would love to select this area and name it. So if I click here, I can have this pivot table named. Let's say my lookup table. So I should remember this lookup table. So if I am here and I click over here, I see my lookup table. It's going to bring me over here. I do this for a purpose. Don't worry, you will know in a jiffy. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do now is this. So let's go over to our dashboard here. So let's right click on this one for the time being and clear the slicer from here. So we have to bring this up. Then we can click here and clear the slicer. So we're going to reset this after all though. So I mistakenly clicked something else. So now we have cleared the slicer and this is what we have over here. So the next thing I want to do now, I would love to just start my next thing here. So is that I want to see what is actually selected. So I'm going to say check yes or check selected year. So all I will do now is to use the count a function. So count a function. So the count a function will check for me, will count for me how many years of data do we have here. So if you know you're going to be having more years, you can select beyond this. So it wouldn't count a blank for you. So if I click on OK now, it only counts 4 and we selected more than 4 rows, right? So it counted 4. So now if I go back and select just this year, to go back here, we have 1. Can you see it now? So this is where the journey of our creating or this comparing previous year to the current year comes in. The next thing we do now, let's actually start with that of profit. Total profit. So for total profit, I'm going to put here selected year. So over here, I'll put previous year. So now for the selected year, it's very simple. the selected year is actually equals to 2005. So what I would like to do, I would like to use the if function to say if this particular one here is equal to if this particular one here is equal to 1, then what I want to do is to return this, otherwise give me 0. So that happens. So let's go here and clear the filter away from here. Then we go back here, so we have 0. So I'm going to go back and choose another year. Then we come back here. Now we have 2016. So how do we get the previous year before 2006, the previous year before 2006? How do we get that? So it's very simple. So this is what we do. So we are going to do 2 checks. And because we want to return 0 when there is multi-selection, in order to actually prevent errors in the future, so we're going to say equals here. So if the or function. So now what we're going to check now is this. We're going to check if this particular year is equal to 2008. I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing this. 2008. Or this particular one over here is greater than 1. You get that? Then we can now close it. If that is true, we want to return 0. Then otherwise, if it is false, we want to actually do this year plus 1. Then we can close this and hit our enter key. So now we are looking for the previous. We can't use plus, so we have to use -1. So here we do subtraction. So -1. So this is selected year. So the previous year before 2005 is 2004. So we have it right here. You get it now? So we can type here year. Then over here, we can type profit. Then we can type percentage. So let's select this and use this. So we can always make our header to look beautiful. So let's go with something like this and this. So now for our profit, we need to find what is the profit of this. Yes, we have over here. So the question is this: how do we find that? So we have VLOOKUP, we have XLOOKUP, we have index and match. Either of it could be used to find this. Okay, let's go with VLOOKUP. So I'm going to put my equal sign here. Then I will do VLOOKUP. So with my VLOOKUP, what I want right now is to actually provide the lookup value. And the lookup value is this 2006 right here. And I put my comma. So right now, I do not need to highlight my table. That was why I actually named that particular range lookup table. So I'm going to type in here lookup table. So here we go. We have it as lookup table. Automatically, when we do that, it highlights this part for us. So let me take this off. And now what do you see? No more highlights. Look at what we have here. When I do that now, I'll put lookup table. Automatically we have it highlighted. Then we need to actually identify where profit is sitting, because what we want now is to retrieve profit, and profit is sitting on the 6th column. Then comma, exact match 0, and we hit our enter key. So as you can see, it automatically spilled to the next line 2005. That was because I actually selected my rows before, and I hit the control key before I hit the enter key. Now let's go and verify this. So in 2000, let's do this to see it better. So 2005, here we go. Can you see them now? So 2005 has 13.40. You can see here. Then 2006 is having 28.18. And that is exactly what we have over here. Do you see that now? That is beautiful. So what happens if I change it to like 2005? So there is no previous year for 2005. And that will bring us to this particular part here, where we have to use if error. So I can just come over here. We are just going to say if error. So if there is any error, what we want to return is just 0. Then we close and hit our enter key. Then we can copy this down. Now we have this. Do you get it now? So the next thing we have to do is actually getting the percentage of the 2 years we have right here. It's very simple. We have done something similar to this before. So what do? We put our equal sign here. We say this particular value here, we want to divide it by the sum of the whole value. You get that now? So make sure you always lock this place down. It's very important. So once you've done that, you hit the enter key. That gives you 100%. So 0%. So let's go ahead and see when we actually do this. So now you can see the percentage of 2006 and the percentage of 2005. So over here, I'm going to type year over year change. So I would love to do this over here. Then what I'll do now is this equals the current year, the selected year, subtracted from the previous year. That gives us the growth of 35.5%. You see that? So we can select, go here. Let's do something darker than this. So this is how you can actually create something as amazing as this. So what we did here is to actually do, check the year over year change. So the selected year is actually this particular year, 2006, and we have it right here. So we subtract it from the percentage we have in 2005, and it gave us the growth of 35.5%, approximately 36%. You see that? And we can actually use this over on our dashboard. You get it now. So let's do something. What happens if we go here? So if we go over here and select the last year, so we have 100% because there is no what? There is no previous year. Then if I select the first year, so I think this time around, I should be able to some kind of bring it back for you to see. So now click on OK. So if I select the first year, so there is no value, it's giving us 100%. So there is no value for 2004, which is the previous year. So we don't have any transactions. So it's giving us 100%. So we only have comparison when we select 2006, 2007. You get it now. That is exactly what it is. So now what do we do next? We have to bring this to our dashboard. So we've done for profit. I'm going to actually just duplicate this. So I can move it. I will just make it a bit smaller. So I'll go over to the top here. I'll change the color to something like this. Okay, let's look for color that will pop out very well. Let's go with this. Okay, we go with this color. Now we can duplicate this for others. I told you never to worry about the alignment for the first time. So after all, you can take care of that. So now we can hold it. And we can do a line top. So this is what it is that we have. So I can just go here. We have profit. So put it over here. Now we've done for profit. All I need to do now is to come over here and pick it up. So this is the percentage we have. So what you can do is to select something that will pop out. Let's go with this. Okay. Then we can just make it a bit popped. Like this would be cool. So there is another formatting we need to do, because we want to show plus and minus when there is negative value, right? How do we do that? Let's see. So we need to go back here now and click on this. So let's do Ctrl+1 and let's go to custom. So over here, we have to format it the way we want. So for positive percentage, we want to use the plus and 0. Depends on how many decimal places you want. So 0.00. You get it now. So we need to put the percentage right. So we do %. So you can see we have it. That is the positive one. The semicolon punctuation mark is what you use to actually say you want to go to the next line. So now it's going to be minus 0.00%. So again, you do the semicolon again. So for the neutral value, it's going to be just 0.00. And that is the formatting you need to do. So always put your percentage on it. So if I go now, we should have plus over here. Let's do it. So can you see it now? We have plus over here, and that is what we are looking for. So let's go back. So you can see it's actually plus 35.53%, which is very cool. So now this is what we have. So how can we replicate the same thing without we doing it from the scratch? Because it takes a lot of time to do this, right? So what we can do now is to go over here. I think I'm going to copy this. I'll just hold my Control key. Go here, hold my Control key, and I copy it down. So now it's messed up. So what we can do is to bring this back to here, take this back to here, and hit the Enter key. It has been corrected. So you do the same thing to this one. You push it back to where it belongs. Do it one after the other. It's faster than you creating it from the scratch again. So once you hit your Enter key, it has been corrected. So the next thing again is this particular part right here. So it's okay. But now we need to know what we want. So we want to do for total revenue. So total revenue. So we need to go back to here and find where our revenue is actually sitting. So we start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sitting in the 4th position. So we come back here. So it's sitting in the 4th position. Double click here and change this 64. So hit your Enter key. Then you do this. So if I double click on this now, let's see what we have. So double click on this. So things look messy here because this particular division is actually doing it between this and the top one. So what we need to do is to actually go over, double click on this one and bring this one down. Then hit the Enter key and just do this. So now here is okay. So we have growth of 35.11%. So here is actually 32.2 or 35.53%. So very swift, right? So this is for revenue. Over here, we're going to call this one revenue, right? So that is it. So we just quickly go back to our dashboard and we cut this one and bring it for revenue. Then we go right here to pick it up. So to get the formatting quickly, we have to use the format painter. And this is what it is. So we're going to be doing this one after the other until we have it for every part of our dashboard. Very important. So we need to do it step by step, but don't create it from the scratch. All you have to do is to still follow the same thing. Just drag this down. All right, behind the scene, I have completed those ones here. Exclude this one. It might be a little bit different from the other ones we have done. So let's do it together. So we go back here. So all I just have to do is just to copy this particular part. We're going to copy it down. Just drag it. So once you drag it, let me Ctrl Z. So once you drag it down here, double click on this one and scroll back up. You see this, you have to move it. Just like the previous one. Then you have to move this one. Then you hit the enter key and scroll all the way back down. So this last one here, double click on it, scroll back up. Then you move this, move it all before you hit your enter key. So if mistakenly it got cleared, double click it and go back up again. So we shift this one to look up on this. That is beautiful. So the next one now is this one here. So we have to know which particular column we should be looking up to. So this one here is actually our transaction. So we have to rename this part to be some kind of percentage of profit margin. So I'm going to do percentage profit margin. So over here, I will type the same thing. I'll just type margin here. So then we have corrected the years. So let's correct this one. So we have to go back here and start counting from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we scroll down and over here we make changes. Then we have to change this 2 to 5. That is the position. So there is nothing changes here. Doesn't reflect anything. So all you have to do is to Ctrl 1 and make sure you select percentage, and that will definitely reflect what we want. Then over here, we have to double click on this and move this one down to this place, then hit the enter key. Then over here, we just do this. So remember, we're actually subtracting the current year from the previous year. And here we have growth of 0.48%. Very low, but it's okay. It's not negative. Then we can come here now and let's just duplicate this one, have it over here. Then we go ahead and pick it up. So let's go ahead and insert under slicer, and this slicer would definitely be the month slicer. So I'm going to have it here. So let's quickly go ahead and say insert. We can see insert slicer. So we have lots of tables right here when you click on insert slicer. So you can go to all tables and we can choose to go to date. So we scroll down and we pick the month here, the month name. Then we click on OK. So on the month name, we can just cut it off and bring it over here. So paste it down here now. So if I select any of these for this now, you can see here. So it's giving us the changes. It's reflecting exactly what we have selected here. Can you see? So in this particular June of 2007, so our revenue is down. Our cost of goods sold, the money we spend in purchasing those goods, is actually lower, which means it depicts something very good right here. But on this part here, it's not really cool because it's actually down by 11.something%, and the profit margin grows by 2.something%. So when we select January, now you see this is exactly what it is. So you can just say this: we have exactly fulfilled the promise of recreating that dashboard you have seen previously. So now look at this. So this 2006 and 2007 is what actually, give us this and this and this. So that is where the changes is coming from. Do you see that now? So whatever we select from here again will definitely impact whatever we see from those changes we have over here, include this one and this one. And the value we have here as well will definitely change. So we have just given you the idea on how to create this. Not just that, always make sure you highlight the point that make a lot of sense in your data. Like this point is highlighted. So now this reflects the color we have over here. Can you see it now? So this particular color again is another color that highlights the year that is actually in selection. Then when we decide to go over to the top here and click on slicer, then we choose this. Now, if I select like June now, you can see June is now another selection we make on the slicer, and 2007 is what we make on this slicer. And you see that? This is very beautiful. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel before, you might consider subscribing, as I will be bringing you more of such content every single time. So we have more to go on this particular one. But for now, we're going to stop right here. Please do practice and see you on the next one. So click on the playlist to watch the next part of this.